All right, so we're just going to go ahead and ask you a series of 8 questions. Generally, they're just in regard to your role as a board member, generally how you perceive your responsibilities.
Sure.
Okay, so the first one is, where's the distinction between an educator and a board member, and how do you find yourself within this distinction?
Okay. So the question is how do I distinguish between an educator and a board member?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 2 different roles. A board member is to set policy and procedures for the school district as a whole, and the educator is to assist in educating students, right? So there's a pretty big difference.
Okay.
So that's the actual the difference between those 2.
Okay. As a representative of the EPISD student population, what do you feel is your connection to student bodies throughout the district, and what would you do to enhance this connection?
Okay, so what is the connection between the trustees and the student body as a whole within the school
Yes.
district? Okay,
And
how do I perceive it?
And how do you personally enhance it?
Okay, so that's really important. It's important to engage our students within the district. I perceive it to be okay, because there's always room to improve.
Mm-hmm.
I also believe that ways that we can improve this is continually as trustees to support your campus improvement teams, which have input by student bodies. Also, there is an organization, or there's a district-wide group of students that meets with the superintendent, and trustees are able to attend those meetings as needed. One of the things that we've also done recently is that we've invited certain students to attend our board meetings. So we have 2 students that attend to give us input. Matter of fact, Burgess was our last 2 students that attended our board meeting just several days ago, where our trustees, I won't say in waiting, but potential future trustees, right? But they attended the board meeting, and I guess where I'm going with this is that they also spoke to the board directly on an issue on grades. And so we want to hear from our students. We feel it's very important, and I believe that we can do more. As a matter of fact, I'm setting up some one-on-one or a group interview, online interview, at our studio at EPISD with students here in the next couple of months. So I'll invite a few students within the district and get their input. That will go Facebook Live.
All right. We've come to understand that there are many reasons why people feel less than inclined to apply for this position, and that it's generally due to lack of time or their other full-time profession. What has motivated you to sacrifice your time and to apply?
I feel a great need to help out our community. If you're looking for a red carpet position, this is not the position. I always tell people that this is not a red carpet position. This is a position you actually have to roll up your sleeves and do something, and help set policy. Ensure our other main responsibility is ensure that the superintendent is doing his job. We have 9,000 employees in the district. It's impossible for the trustees, and it's not our role to manage the 9,000 employees. It's our responsibility to manage and oversee the superintendent, and his responsibility with his leadership team is to oversee the 9,000 employees. What I tell people is there's a great responsibility in this role. What motivated me to do this, I think I shared with that yesterday. There was definitely a need. I was particularly frustrated with the past news or the past history of our school district board, where they were because of the cheating scandal and the lack of oversight. So I was quite frustrated. So I think that motivated me to run, but also my engagement in the community and my own children in the school district and my friends' children and you guys. That's what motivates me to give my time.
All right. What is your definition of an engaging and challenging learning environment?
Okay, what's the definition of an engaging and challenging learning environment? A learning environment is extremely important, and one of the initiatives that the school district is now pursuing, it's become one of our pillars, is the active learning We want students to have the ability to engage in their education. Education evolves, it changes like everything else, and so it's very important to be able to evolve, but provide during that involvement, provide a top high-level education. Coronado High School has IB programs. That's very important. They have a Future Farmers of America, FFA. That's important. So we have to make sure that we're providing programs that are very important, but engaging programs that allow interaction. In the real world, gone are the days of, in the real work, you know, in the private sector, there's a lot of collaboration. The workforce is now expected to work together, work on projects, pull more minds together on projects. You know, more the merrier, more minds better than one. I think that's kind of the future of the workforce. And so we're pushing our education at EPISD, our directive is collaborative and interactive learning. Does that make sense?
Yes. And how would you use your current definition that you just gave to fulfill the goals currently set by the school board?
So, as a school board member, I'm one of 7, and so we have to ensure as a school board that we're aligned well, that we have healthy discussions where we set strong initiatives and board goals. And one of those board goals is interactive learning, collaborative learning, and we've set high expectations for our school district and our leadership to ensure that we have an organization come in and help us transition from the standard in the row teaching to collaborative learning, like we're doing, you know, maybe in this setting, you know, circle-centered learning environment. So, to answer your question specifically, we've contracted an organization that right now is working with a select group of teachers at a school, and those teachers will become certified to help their feeder programs, and those other schools in the district become certified in engaged learning and active learning. And so we need to make sure we have the right programs in place to encourage and foster that learning environment.
All right. What unique qualities or skills do you think you bring to the board personally, and what do you believe you still need to build upon?
That's a good question. It's not very easy to do a self-evaluation on yourself, isn't it? So you have to look in the mirror and make that evaluation. But what do I bring to the school district? First of all, I believe I'm very ethical. I'm very upfront. I'm honest. I believe that I can have an engaging discussion regardless if I disagree with someone or not. I also believe that I'm a strong leader, and I also believe that one of the things that I bring to the district is unifying and an example of how to roll up your sleeves and get engaged and make a difference. That's really why I'm in the position that I'm in, is because I rolled up my sleeves, I got engaged in the community, and I made a difference. And so it wasn't just me. There's many people that do this or that support me in my efforts. But that's really what I bring to the table. And what can I do to improve? I think there's always room for improvement. Time, giving more time. I give a lot of time, but being more effective in my time giving. I also believe in that I can improve in engaging our support personnel. You know, your custodian folks. I think that's really important. I think that's something that I can improve to engage them a little bit more. They're also an important part of our school district. Also, one of the things I think that we can improve in, or I can improve in, is reaching out to other school districts in the community. I think that's really important, that we're aligned with some of our other best practices in the community. And then also unifying our board. It's very important. I think that that's something that I can probably improve in a little bit better, unifying our board. Especially with the new trustee coming in. That's really important.
What do you consider to be the most important aspect of education, and why do you believe this?
Okay, so what do I believe to be the most important part of education? I believe personally that every student needs the opportunity, or should have the opportunity, to reach their full potential. And that potential is different for every single individual in our school district, every student in the school district. So as a trustee, when I look at situations or, initiatives, are we providing the best opportunity for every student to succeed? And that's what my expectations are. So I expect that our students, my expectation was that every student have the opportunity, once they graduate, to go to college, if they choose so. If they don't want to go to college, maybe they want to go to the military. Have we prepared them to enter that field? Some don't want to go to college, some don't want to go to the military, they might want to go to a trade school. Have we prepared them well enough to go to a trade school? Have we given them an opportunity to pursue their next step in education?
I'm going to intervene really quick.
Yeah.
What are you doing to make that happen? Like you said, you wanted to get every student to go to college. What are you doing?
What steps are we taking?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we have board goals. Some of our board goals you're seeing today is interactive learning, having collaborative learning environments. That's number one. Number two, what am I personally looking at? I'm personally looking at our literacy in our school district. If you can't read, you're going to not succeed. So literacy is very important to me. I want to make sure every student has the ability to read at every grade level that they're in. Also, I believe, I've had the opportunity to visit universities over the last several years. Students are asked, did you do on your SAT and ACT? They don't ask, how did you do on your STAR test? Does that make sense? So for me, it's really important that we are offering the best learning courses and preparation courses earlier in the student's path to graduate versus later. Meaning I think we're offering right now these courses as a sophomore and as a junior, those classes, even as seniors. Those classes should be offered as 8th graders and 9th graders. You should be taking the tests as sophomores and juniors. It's too late almost in the game to be cramming for a test as a senior. There's a lot of room for improvement in that area from my point of view. So I'm concerned about literacy. I'm concerned about Algebra 1 in our school district. I'm concerned about SAT and ACT scores, because that's what people are asking. And the STAR test, the standardized STARS test, the testing you have to take, that will take care of itself if we're working and addressing these issues, and everybody will improve. Right? That's my answer.
All right.
Did that answer your question?
Kind of.
Okay.
Because you talked about your beliefs, but not actually your actions. I think that's where I'm a little.
So my actions is this: I've asked some of these items to be put on curriculum and instruction workshops, because we have committees within the district. So I've asked our superintendent and those individuals, trustees that sit on these committees to address and look into these issues more.
Okay.
That's specifically what I've asked them to look at
Thank you.
All right.
as a trustee.
And other than policy-related ideas, what makes you believe that you are an adequate leader and a representative for your district?
Well, first of all, I don't have a education background, so remove that from the equation. I look at things from just a normal citizen, and I think that there's an advantage to that. I think sometimes in the school system we make a decision solely based on education. I think that's been the history, and sometimes you have to look at the decisions within the school district from a different perspective. Sometimes you have to look at it from a business perspective, because the education system's changed dramatically. We have charter schools now that are taking students from our public education system. We have homeschoolers, and so all of these other options. You have online courses. All these other options are options that parents have, but we want to provide best options at EPISD, right? And so we have to provide best programs, flexibility, academics. Those are really, really important within our school district to keep and retain people in our school district.
All right. How do you plan on leveraging your own leadership role and your personal district's best interest with the cohesiveness of the entire board?
Hey, that's a big question. Why don't you repeat that?
Okay. How do you plan on leveraging your own leadership role and your own agenda for your personal district with the interest and cohesiveness of the entire board?
Okay, so that's a really good question. First of all, I have a responsibility to District 6, because those are the individuals that elected me. Okay. as the sitting president of the board, I have a responsibility to the entire district, right? So my good friends down the road in District 7, it's Coronado, I have a responsibility to support you, right? And then how do I do it? I have to unify the board. I have to make sure that we look at policies and procedures that impact and benefit everyone. For example, for the longest time, there are only a handful of schools within the district that had magnet programs. Coronado was one. Franklin didn't have any academic programs. Andrus High School, as you jump over the mountain, didn't have any magnet programs. Irvin High School didn't have any magnet programs. Austin High School didn't have any programs. Bowie had a program, but it could use some support. I guess my point is, and Burgess as well. Like my point is that we have to make things equitable from an academic perspective within our district. And so as a board member, I have to work with my other fellow partners on the board to ensure that we have consistency in the school district. And one of the things that we've done as a district, with the help of our superintendent, is bring more programs into the school district. Andrus High School now has an IB program. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. Franklin now has New Tech. Austin High School has New Tech. Bowie has New Tech. We're looking at always, and Chapin has an engineering program. We're trying to roll out new programs so that students have options. Jefferson has their medical programs, and we're looking at expanding those medical programs. We're trying to look for ways to work together as trustees to offer more to the students in our district.
All right, well, I think those are all the questions that we have for you today. Thank you very much for coming out.
Thank you for having me this early in the morning. And I'm wearing my hat because I have bedhead, because I was moving mats. But I'm higher energy as well, as you probably know. That's one of the things I bring to the table, right? So one of the high things, I bring high energy. All right, you guys good?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, guys, great work. So do you need anything from me prior to the Wednesday meeting?
I don't think so.
Okay, what time are we starting?